up, Juqui. We're about to begin the Juqui Freedom Ride. Early on a July morning, we pulled out from the alleyway of my Oaxaca home, Juqui and I, with our driver, Konstantin, to head north for the border. I reflected on how it may be the last time we see this Barrio Hermoso, where we had so many experiences. In the morning light, we drove past the auditorium of La Guelaguetza and into the open country of Oaxaca. We spent the last 2 days on the road. Looking to the north, we saw Pico de Orizaba, in Nahuatl, Citlaltepet, or Star Mountain, rising up off the plains of Puebla, there on the edge of Veracruz. Driving north from Oaxaca, circling around Mexico City on the Arco Norte, then heading out west toward Querétaro and north to San Luis Potosi. We experienced mostly open roads, but occasionally backups, which could stretch for miles. That is where Konstantin used his off-road skills, driving alongside on the shoulder, on improvised dirt trails, and even veering into parking lots alongside the highway and back on to take advantage of the flow. Durante la aventura, Juqui estaba atenta y relajada. Juqui was a relaxed traveler, and finally we made it to the end of our first day. We spent the overnight in San Luis Potosi. Now we're back on the road this morning, headed today to Monterrey. It's so interesting as you cross Mexico. First of all, to see the breadth, beautiful scenery, landscapes, all the different cities, but mostly wide open spaces. One thing that really stands out to me as you come from the south up north, closer to the border with the US, is how Mexico moves from a more traditional Latin American way of life into something that feels more contemporary, quite honestly more American. As you get closer to the border, things start to feel like they're blurring in between the two countries. Monterrey, in many ways, other than some differences in landscape, feels almost like it could be Dallas. I'm enjoying getting to spend a little time here before we head out tomorrow on our last leg of the trip from Monterrey to cross the border and on to Texas on the Juqui Freedom Ride. A warm sunny afternoon here in Monterrey is giving way to a cool, breezy evening. I'm out on the streets looking for something to eat. Hi, aquí estamos, algunas gorditas. Ay, qué rico. That was super yummy. I gotta take some back for Juqui to enjoy. Hola, Juqui. ¿Tienes hambre? Ven, amor. Juqui, sit. Stay. Okay. Day 3, Sunday morning, was uneventful, leaving out to the north. We're on our way this morning from Monterrey, across the border, up through Texas and on to Dallas, the last leg of the Juqui Freedom Ride. Very quickly, we saw that this leg of the trip would be different, with the presence of the Fuerza Civil, the civil force. Hitting the open road, we would come to see the importance of their protection. Highway 1 was a libre, a free road, which often can mean trouble in the form of potholes or even bandidos. Just 30 miles from the border, we hit a zone of construction for the new highway, which would take us to Puente Colombia, the crossing into Texas just to the northwest of Nuevo Laredo. As a sign that we were blessed along this last stretch of highway through Mexico, great swaths of monarch butterflies appeared from nowhere on their migratory journey south to their refugios in the forest highlands of central Mexico. I lamented those which were caught by our vehicle, but realized there were untold numbers of these beautiful creatures flying south all along the borderland. We soon came upon a convoy of the Fuerza Civil, their armored trucks having overtaken a wrecked vehicle to the side of the road, which Konstantin thought must be an abandoned truck of the bandidos. We'd driven the last 3.5 hours north out of Monterrey on the Libre, the free road, and we're approaching the border crossing at Colombia here shortly. Cross over into Texas. You ready to go to the U.S., Juqui? Ready to be an immigrant dog in the States? She's like, I'm ready. We took one last stop to stretch our legs in the parque just to the south of the border crossing, as the weight of this moment began to set itself into my awareness. Juqui, this might be your last time ever in Mexico. What do you think? It's your homeland. Cross it over with me. Feeling a lot of emotion right now. 10 months ago I left Oaxaca to come to the States. My landlord Selene cared for Juqui. Now I'm back to bring her across the border to live with me and my daughter in Dallas. So excited. It's been a lot of planning to get to this point. We're ready. Juqui, let's do this. The Puerto was a transitional zone some hundreds of meters long, with customs offices the first stop in the process. We're heading into immigration. Got our papers to get processed and pass through to the U.S. side. Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. The agent couldn't find a record of my entry into Mexico, so I had to tell her how I got here, coming into the Mexico City airport and going through the electronic kiosk. It all worked out. I got my passport stamped and we're on our way. And then we were into the queue, passing through the kiosks on the Mexican side and onto the international bridge.
You hop in and you swim diagonal, and it'll drag you to this side. Unfortunately, for anyone that does that, there's CBP is sitting. Oh my!
We saw a van pull up right to the international border.
There's the line right there.
Yeah, they're in the U.S. The irony was not lost on us that these vendors from Mexico were informally crossing to the U.S. side, selling their wares to those waiting to cross over. We're in! Juqui! Juqui! You're in! Juqui Freedom Ride! Success! Juqui! We're in the States! We made it! Bienvenido a Texas, Juqui! La Oaxaqueña! Fuera! In Texas! Conmigo! Crossed over the border about 2.5 hours ago. Now we're riding north up to San Antonio, then Austin, then Dallas. It's been quite an adventure. Juqui's doing great. I think she's handling it better than I am. She's just like, whatever, dude. With Juqui passed out on the back seat, we passed through the fields of North Texas, ready for harvest, and pulled into Dallas as evening descended on Juqui's new home.